Agriculture in the Classroom seeks to improve student knowledge of agriculture by applying authentic, agricultural-based content as the context to teach core curriculum concepts in science, social studies, language arts, and nutrition. In an effort to further deepen the partnership from the grassroots, Cabinet Office directed Executive Office of the President on Tuesday the 17th of September, 2024 that the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Forestry to establish a more robust framework for community-based forest associations to further empower local communities in forest conservation efforts. National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy 2023 to 2032, which aims to plant 15 billion trees. Cabinet acknowledged with appreciation the growing partnership between the public and private sectors in advancing the tree planting campaign.
On innovative, prudent, transparent, and accountable use of public resources, along with people-friendly mechanisms for domestic resource mobilization and reducing public expenditure. The importance of constituting a more inclusive government that unlocks the potential of citizens from all sectors to drive national transformation.
To transform Kenya's agricultural sector, there is need for drastic changes touching on the following areas among others. Encouraging product diversification to stabilize and increase income, earning opportunities. Encouraging participatory approaches to development through the empowerment of local communities to initiate and implement their priority projects. Training farmers to manage their activities in a business-oriented manner, increasing financial gains. Rainwater harvesting in Kenya involves collecting and storing rainwater from surfaces like rooftops and land areas to combat water scarcity, especially in arid regions, and improve water security and agricultural productivity. Rainwater harvesting for irrigation (RWHI) systems offer many benefits to smallholder farmers, including the possibility of agricultural intensification and improved resilience to climate change in more arid areas. However, the scaling of RWHI systems could inadvertently pose risks to environmental, social, and economic sustainability.
The arid counties include Baringo, Garissa, Isiolo, Mandera, Marsabit, Samburu, Tana River, Turkana, Wajir. The semi-arid ones are Embu, Kajiado, Kilifi, Kitwe, Kwale, Laikipia, Lamu, Makueni, Meru, Narok, Nairi, Taita Taveta, Tarakani, and West Pokot. The National Drought Early Warning System also indicates that outbreak of Rift Valley fever, abnormal abortion among goats and other notifiable livestock diseases in Marsabit, Wajir, Marsabit, Samburu, Kajiado, Narok and Mandera counties continue to affect livestock production. Access to water resources improved slightly in terms of trekking distances to an average of 6 kms for both livestock and domestic sources. Livestock prices across all species remained stable while cereal prices improved marginally, stabilizing the purchasing power of households. Malnutrition rates in Garissa, Samburu, Turkana, Tana River, Quail, Makueni, Tarakani and West Pokot counties require close monitoring.
This scenario is not far off in the future, and it is not isolated to any single corner of the globe. The threat of day zero reflects a worldwide pattern of increasing stress on water resources, exacerbated by climate change. Over the last 2 decades, there has been a 134% increase in floods and a 29% increase in droughts around the globe. Water harvesting and storage. Water harvesting, WH, and small storage technologies are key water-related interventions with the potential to contribute to rapid improvements in the yields of rain-fed crops. WH and small storage technologies can also help provide water for domestic use, livestock, fodder and tree production, and, less commonly, fish and duck ponds. Food security policies. Governments can implement policies and legislation that promote food security and improve access to nutritious food, such as subsidies for small farmers and food assistance programs for vulnerable populations. Food security policies and legislation addresses food availability, improves access to food, promotes food safety, and builds resilience. The International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists aims to raise awareness and advocate for the value of healthy rangelands and sustainable pastoralism, as well as advocating for the need to further build the capacity of and increase responsible investment in the pastoral livestock sector. This includes sustainable land management practices, improved or restored ecosystems, access to markets, livestock health and breeding. The International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists will be implemented by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, as the lead.
President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is setting the pace for Africa in industrial cattle ranching and large-scale fodder cultivation. The era of nomadic cattle rearing, conflicts between herders and farmers, and food insecurity is coming to an end. The solution? Mechanized livestock farming, right here in the heart of West Africa. This is why Intervlog is here today, to celebrate this groundbreaking initiative and showcase Burkina Faso as the new powerhouse of agricultural transformation. The problem of traditional cattle rearing. For decades, livestock farming in Burkina Faso, like in many African nations, followed the nomadic system. Herders moved from one village to another in search of pasture, but this often led to chaos, cattle invading rice, wheat, and cassava farms, farmers losing their crops, and conflicts breaking out. Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, Ghana, all have suffered from similar clashes. But Burkina Faso, under the visionary leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, said no more. He has taken a bold step to industrialize cattle rearing and end these disputes once and for all. President Traoré's vision for a modern livestock industry. President Traoré, a leader of action, saw the crisis and took immediate steps to fix it. His vision? A modern
Kajiado has suffered tremendously from massive social and economic losses. Between October 2020 and March 2023, livestock mortality hit a high of 424,663 head of livestock and over 480,000 human beings too faced acute food shortage. As a result, the county enhanced destocking program in addition to panic sales by the livestock farmers. Due to the prolonged drought, the traditional pastoral production system became unsustainable. Hence, the county governor H.E. Joseph Olelenko initiated the Kajiado County Transformation Agenda, KCTA, where one of the key pillars is modulate status of the animal feed industry in Kenya. Livestock feed and feeding systems in the country are constrained by a host of factors, including recurrent droughts, grassland degradation, overgrazing, land tenure and land use changes, resource use conflicts, encroachment of invasive plant species, soil infertility and inadequate inputs, seasonal feed shortages and inefficient feed use by pastoralists and agro-pastoralist communities are the major challenges affecting livestock product. The objectives of the strategy are to increase livestock feed production, conservation and utilization, institute quality and standards in livestock feed production and handling, ensure quality and safety of livestock feed for domestic and export markets, promote processing, manufacturing and trade in livestock feed, promote research and improve technologies in livestock feed, promote public-private partnerships, PPP, within the livestock feed industry, develop appropriate institutional and legal frameworks for the feed industry, safeguard pasture lands through synergies with the county's poor feed conservation practices, lack of knowledge on appropriate feed and feeding practices, and inadequate data on estimates of the proportion and number of animals kept within specific production systems constrain the efficient use of available feed resources and also contribute to the inefficiency and non-competitiveness of the feed industry. The rapid population growth, urbanization have increased demand for livestock products and will continue to do so. Growing Juncow grass. Juncow grass grows well in arid and semi-arid lands. It can thrive under heat and drought. It has softer leaves than Napier grass. It takes about 3 months to mature. Juncow grass in Kenya. Juncow grass has been introduced to Kenya. It has helped farmers cope with fodder shortages due to harsh weather. It has also helped production. Once the plants have grown to a height of 200 millimeters, 250 kilograms of limestone ammonium nitrate, LAN, fertilizer per hectare should be applied as a side dressing to promote tillering. After each harvesting, a side dressing of 150 kilograms per hectare nitrogen should be applied. This should be followed by an application of water, about 25 millimeters. Juncow grass is a perennial fodder that can be used as feed for poultry, as well as cattle, pigs, goats, and fish. It's a good source of fiber and protein. Benefits of Juncow grass. High yield, can produce up to 180 tons per acre per year. Multiple harvests, can be harvested more than 5 times a year. Climate resilient in all types of weather and soils. Cost reduction, can reduce feed costs by up to 40%. Sustainable, can help fight poverty, hunger, and malnutrition. Carbon dioxide absorption. Juncow leaves absorb carbon dioxide emissions. Soil erosion prevention. Juncow leaves can help prevent
Agriculture and food. Agriculture can help reduce poverty, raise incomes and improve food security for 80% of the world's poor, who live in rural areas and work mainly in farming. The World Bank Group is a leading financier of agriculture. Healthy, sustainable and inclusive food systems are critical to achieve the world's development goals. Agricultural development is one of the most powerful tools to end extreme poverty, boost shared prosperity, and feed a projected 10 billion people by 2050. Growth in the agriculture sector is 2 to 4 times more effective in raising incomes among the poorest compared to other sectors. But agriculture-driven growth, poverty reduction, and food security are at risk. Multiple shocks, from COVID-19 related disruptions to extreme weather, pests, and conflicts, are impacting food systems. The goal of ending global hunger by 2030 is currently off track. Conflicts, climate change, and high food prices are driving food and nutrition insecurity.
Identify and map all degraded soils and support their reclamation program. Formulate development projects and programs to enhance resource mobilization for agricultural land reclamation. Promote appropriate soil management technologies that will lead to enhanced land reclamation that will lead to agricultural productivity. Link watershed management to restoration of the health and fertility of the soils to respond to climate change and the effects of frequent sporadic floods and droughts. Promote education and public awareness through participatory approaches to inculcate land rehabilitation initiatives and reduction of land degradation. Implement programs for reclamation and restoration of degraded soils for capacity building targeting farmers and other fertilizer value chain players. The agricultural soil management under devolution. In the advent of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, agricultural soil management issues relating to practices become largely county functions. Following repeal of Agricultural Act Cap. 318, the only instrument that applied to agricultural soil management is the Crops Act of 2013. The acts provided for development soil management guidelines. Agricultural soil management in the devolved system is being handled through the Agricultural Extension System. An estimated more than $4 billion in soil nutrients is lost each year. However, many African farmers still do not have access to fertilizers or cannot afford the inputs required to bring life back into their soils and halt the downward spiral of environmental deterioration. Empty soils, empty stomachs, empty livelihoods. In the Fertilizers and Animal Foodstuffs Act, Cap. 345, the term fertilizer does not include manure, compost, wood ash, gypsum or refuse when sold in its original condition and under the same name, nor does it include organic fertilizers, other than lime. This law has had its deficiencies in ensuring effective regulation of the fertilizers, including bio-fertilizers. People are increasingly becoming health conscious. In response to this, organic farming has gained currency globally. The issues around organic farming include research and development, standards and guidelines, commercialization, quality assurance, regulation. Most of the small-scale farmers use organic fertilizers such as farmyard manure and compost and recycle crop residues as a means of sustaining and improving the fertility level of soils. Organic fertilizers provide organic matter which not only provides nutrients to the soil but also improves the physical, chemical and biological status of the soil. The limited amounts of organic sources of plant residues and their very low nutrients content work against reliance on them as major sources of nutrient supply. Moreover, the beneficial policies and acts that reinforce the efficient use of organic resources, such as the prohibition of the burning of crop residues, have been weakly implemented due to lack or weak institutional arrangements. 1. Lack of appropriate packaging and labeling of organic fertilizers. 2. Lack of standards for organic fertilizers. 3. Danger of use of contaminated raw materials. 4. Inadequate material for composting. 5. Lack of a regulatory organization and/or legislation to deal with organic fertilizers. 6. On organic fertilizers. A new report has revealed that only 20% of Kenya's soil is suitable for food production, indicating worrying times ahead for Kenya's food basket. According to the Soil Atlas Health Report 2025, Kenya's soil has undergone massive degradation, with the country losing 26 tons of soil per hectare annually through water-induced erosion, with some areas exceeding 90 tons. Soil is a vital resource that impacts food and nutritional security. Research shows that soils are also indispensable in the fight against climate change because they store more carbon than vegetation and the atmosphere combined. Carbon is absorbed from the atmosphere by plants and then stored in soils through the plant's roots. As per the report, this in East Africa, where over 40% of soils are degraded, threatening the region's agricultural foundation and resilience. A combination of human activities and natural processes drive this crisis. Overgrazing, unsustainable farming practices, deforestation, and increasingly erratic weather patterns contribute to the depletion of soil quality. Overgrazing, especially in dry areas, exacerbates the problem by removing vegetation that protects the soil. Without this, it becomes vulnerable to erosion and compaction, reducing its ability to absorb water and sustain plant life. Further compounding the problem of soil degradation in Kenya is salinization, the buildup of salts in the soil. This is particularly so in arid and semi-arid regions where poor irrigation practices, such as the use of low-quality water, contribute to water evaporates. It leaves behind salts that gradually accumulate to harmful levels. High evaporation rates and waterlogging also intensify the Approximately 40% of irrigated land in Kenya is affected by salinity, making it difficult to meet agricultural demands, the report noted. Further, the report noted nutrient depletion as another challenge to soil health in Kenya and the region, with over 85% of soils being nutrient deficient. Continuous farming without replenishment, soil acidity and poor management practices has worsened the problem. Worryingly, the report revealed that degraded soils were estimated to reduce agricultural output by 30%, leading to dependency on imports. This comes after another report released by the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, revealed an estimated 2.8 million people are acute food insecurity between April and June 2026, considering the looming below normal long rain. Salt-affected soils, encompassing saline, sodic, and saline sodic types, are characterized by high concentrations of soluble salts or exchangeable sodium, which negatively impact plant growth and agricultural productivity, especially in arid and coastal regions. What are the three types of salt-affected soils? Managing salt-affected production. Three general categories of salt-affected soils have been identified for management purposes. Saline soils, soils affected by salt problems in general. Sodic soils, soils affected by sodium problems. Saline sodic soils, soils affected by problems with sodium. There will come a time when only those that know how to plant will be eating. Chief Oran Lions. If you like African food systems content, please subscribe and share our channel with your friends and family. Or if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss our weekly presentation podcast. Agriculture is tool to create health, wealth, shelter, protect environment, food, nutrition and basic skills development for our local communities. What is the difference between topsoil and subsoil? The topsoil is relatively thin, but it has most of the soil's nutrients. Just below the topsoil layer is the subsoil layer. The subsoil may contain some broken down organic matter, but it is mostly made of weathered rocks and clay minerals. Topsoil. Location. The uppermost layer of soil, typically 5 to 10 to 25 centimeters deep. Composition, rich in organic matter, humus, decaying plant and animal material, microorganisms, and mineral particles, sand, silt, and clay. Color, darker in color due to the high organic matter content. Fertility, highly fertile, providing essential nutrients for plant. Looser and more porous, allowing for good aeration and drainage. Function, supports plant growth, providing nutrients and a medium for root development. Subsoil. Location, the layer beneath the topsoil, extending to a greater depth. Composition, contains less organic matter and more minerals, clay, and sand. Color, compared to topsoil. Fertility, less fertile than topsoil, with fewer available nutrients. Texture, more compact and dense, with less pore space. Function, provides structural support for the soil profile, facilitates drainage, and can accumulate minerals. World Food Day is celebrated every year around the world on the 16th of October, the date that the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FOA, was founded in 1945. First commemorated by the FOA in 1979, World Food Day aims to promote healthy diets and eradicate hunger issues by 2030. The theme for 2024 is Safe Food Today for a Healthy Tomorrow, which stresses that production and consumption of safe food have immediate and long-term benefits for people, the planet, and the economy. World Food Day also hosts an annual poster competition, with 2024 brief calling on all children and teens around the world. If you're between ages 5 to 19, we want you to use your imagination and create a poster of your favorite food hero at work. The world is full of food heroes, from farmers to drivers, shop assistants, food bank or government representatives etc., who despite various challenges, such as the current COVID-19 pandemic, work hard to make sure that food makes its way from farms to our table. Empty soils, empty stomachs, empty livelihoods. The most meaningful indicator for the health of the land, and the long-term wealth of a nation, is whether soil is being formed or destroyed. When soil is being destroyed, so too is the economic and ecological foundation on which production and conservation are based. Soil health determines plant health, animal health, human health, ecosystem health, and even the health of the economy. How is water managed in Kenya? The Ministry of Water and Irrigation, MWI, is the key institution responsible for the water sector in Kenya. The ministry is divided into 5 departments: administration and support services, water resources management, irrigation, drainage and water storage, and land reclamation. Water resources are stressed and unevenly distributed throughout Kenya, with approximately 85% of the country classified as arid or semi-arid. Overall, 33% of Kenya's water resources originate outside of the country. The 2010 Constitution guarantees the principle of public participation and freedom of information and underscores the right of citizens to present any issue before Parliament. The other centerpiece of the 2010 Constitution was the devolution of power to Kenya's 47 county governments. County governments represent the level of government closest to the people, therefore, they directly influence the effectiveness of policies and strategies at a local level. Coordination. An effective policymaking process should involve coordination among different government agencies and departments to ensure policies align with other government priorities and objectives. Although coordination mechanisms are in place, their effectiveness has been less than optimal. African countries have been recipients of foreign assistance since their independence. It is undeniable that some development assistance programs, especially the people and country-centered ones such as the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, and the Africa Development Foundation, ADF, have shown lasting results in local economies and reduce aid dependency, such as sustainable agriculture, youth entrepreneurship, and improved access to power. Cities and countries on the edge. Today, more than 2 billion people lack access to clean drinking water, and another 2.7 billion face the reality of water scarcity for at least 1 month a year. A 2014 survey found that 25% of the world's 500 largest cities were already facing water stress, and the issue is only growing as the UN estimates that global demand for fresh water will outstrip supply by 40% in 2030. Status of public-private partnerships. Production in the 20,000 acres model farm. Selu Limited submitted a privately initiated proposal, PIP, to undertake production, and after it was approved to move to the project development phase, according to the PPP Act 2021, they embarked on trials on the already developed 10,000 acres. Their proposal was successfully evaluated and negotiations concluded. The project agreement drafting is currently ongoing. Once the agreement is finalized, it will be initialized, presented to the PPP Committee for approval, then Attorney General before it is signed and rolled out. Kajiado has suffered tremendously from massive social and economic losses. Between October 2020 and March 2023, livestock mortality hit a high of 424,663 head of livestock and over 480,000 human beings too faced acute food shortage. As a result, the county government's destocking program in addition to panic sales by the livestock farmers. Due to the prolonged drought, the traditional pastoral production system became unsustainable. Hence, the county governor H.E. Joseph Olelenko initiated the Kajiado County Transformation Agenda, KCTA, where one of the key pillars is modular. Soil is the most important aspect for our life. The economy-based sectors include soil in Kenya. Kenya is a land of vast dimensions with different conditions of geology, relief, climate, and vegetation. Here, you can get different types of soil cultivation. Therefore, Kenya has a large diversity of soil groups which include different types of soil. All the soils are markedly different from each other. Various criteria have been applied to classify Kenyan soils like geology, relief, fertility, chemical composition and physical composition, and so on. Soil formation is so good in a particular climate that each climate type has its own soil.
Na kutoka hiyo 2019 mpaka wa leo gravity haijaisha. Tumerudi huko 2022, gravity iko vile vile. Hakuna chochote inaendelea pale. Wanaleta contractor leo, anakaa mwezi 6, pesa zimeisha. Anatoka anaenda. Mwingine analetwa. Na hakuna improvement yoyote inaendelea pale.
Sasa tunashindwa ni nini kinaendelea katika hiyo gravity. Kama serikali inaweza kufanya bidii ni kwa sababu ya kuweza kutengeneza huo mradi wa gravity. Tafadhali tunaomba serikali
There will come a time when only those that know how to plant will be eating. Chief Oran Lyons. If you like African food systems content, please subscribe and share our channel with your friends and family. Or if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss our weekly presentation podcast. Agriculture is tool to create health, wealth, shelter, protect environment, food, nutrition and basic skills development for our local communities.